Hello, guys. Hope you're doing very well today. Welcome to another weekly market review. Today is the 20th of January 2020. If you're new here, I'm Sia, a professional trader, and I'm going to be updating you on my strategies and actionable points of view on the cryptocurrency market. And if you do enjoy this content, please do like and subscribe, guys. It really helps and motivates me to keep this going. Last week was absolutely amazing for crypto. The trend from the week before continued and we had some great moves. If you are following the Subverto Twitter channel, you would have been able to catch all these moves with us. Well, the total market cap chart was as clean as it gets, even though the rest of the market was confused. But you knew that we had reclaimed this major weekly level, and we knew that this was a bullish sign since it doesn't generally happen in a downtrend. And what do you see? We get continuation. So we've had two very strong weeks in crypto, and all we are doing now is a bit of a consolidation. Let's go to the daily time frame. I have an interesting channel. This is a fib channel that I had drawn out. I've posted it once on the Subverto Twitter, but essentially the 0 to 1 on this channel is this main channel that was coming down, and we in fact broke this right in the first week of Jan, the beginning of the year. And the trade, once you get out of a channel, the trade is to trade it to the other side of the channel. So from the bottom of a channel to the top of the channel and a break of a channel, it leads us to the top of the next channel, and the size is always the same channel. It's replicated. So we actually had a trade that would activate as soon as we break the previous channel, and our target would be the top of this channel, which we not only did we attain, we hit the 1.618 extension of the channel. And you can see on our dip we did get a 1.618, so it was very relevant to get a reaction here. But more relevant was the weekly chart again on total market cap. This is just absolutely gold, guys, because you don't need much. You're just looking at weekly levels, and level to level. Where did we find resistance? Where did the market top out? It was at a weekly level, which has previously been resistance. So we had a weekly level in confluence with this very nice 1.618 fib level. And what do we have now? We have a retrace after a very bullish week. And let's look at if we have any confluence for the retrace. And yeah, 382 level lines up very well with this daily support. Just look at how clean this daily level is as well, where we're finding support. So you can see this is the resistance, and before dropping, where did we find support? This exact daily level. So for now the market is holding it. For me, the market has absolutely switched bullish, so it would make sense that if they are dip buyers lower, they should miss out, though you should always remain cautious of the other side of the trade. Keep a lookout for this 217 level. If we start closing any daily candles below this 227, but you can see we had a really nice top run yesterday because of the big dip. So it is very probable that we consolidate here for a couple of days, and this dip is for buying. This dip is for buying, guys. Here's the altcoin market cap. I did mention last week that it is possible that we get a smaller retrace on it, and I'm just going to zoom in. First, I'm just going to show you the weekly resistance again, just on a higher time frame, guys. Weekly level, you can see a clear rejection from the weekly level, and I'm going to drill down to the daily to just show you the retrace on the altcoin market cap. So you can see we had closed the week above, and this was the beginning of the week. and we basically just held this level. We grinded up. On a lower time frame, this could be a channel. We grinded up from here, did not make any other significant break below the weekly support once it was reclaimed, and then we made this. This is what I would call the first strong impulse. This was also impulsive, but there was a lot of this was only the fork coins that were moving, but on this move all coins moved. I mean, everything basically moved, and we had a lot of older point of work coins like Dash and etc moving as well, which is a very good sign of the market essentially bottoming out, and early money getting in. So what we have now is we've had quite a strong impulse, and again we are making a shallow retrace. It's just a 38.2, which if we are bullish is going to hold. So I would say for alts, just keep a lookout on my Twitter. I already did yesterday post a few dips and levels to buy, and you can watch those levels and see if you still stand a chance in getting some. Though I think on the first impulse down is when we have the most momentum and price reaches the deepest. But for now, since we are still at resistance, yet starting to become bullish, right now still a part of the market is confused whether we are going to turn or not. So it is possible for us to consolidate a bit more under this resistance. Consolidation under resistance when we have a mid time frame trend is bullish, and I would expect us to either range for a couple of days more and move towards this next resistance level. So still dips to buy, guys, and keep a lookout. Watch those levels and see where you can get in, because the whole point of riding a trend is not just about hodling and riding it, but finding entries and exits. So this strong resistance levels, weekly levels, that's why I have high time frame levels. You watch those. We had the quarterly support. We were watching this very carefully, and look at how price held. So these weekly and quarterly and monthly levels, you should expect a reaction there, and find places to manage risk on the downside. So sell as you go up and buy on the dips. And sometimes you might sell and price goes right through. Make a setup on that. If price finds support over a weekly level, you try to catch it again and trade it for the next level. So what, you sold it. Stay flexible. And this is the beginning of a trend, but we don't know how long this trend can go on. It's just that the retraces right now are shallow, so we can expect continuation, and that's what I would expect from this market. So we're looking at a chart of large caps against BTC and Bitcoin against the dollar, and we were looking at this chart at the end of December, and all we were looking at was I think this was the New Year's review when I was talking about this, but we were talking about the fact that correlation had returned, wherein BTC was moving up and large cap BTC was moving along with it. So this is an indication of money flowing into the market, and you can see the last time that we had this positive correlation, it was bang at the bottom on the 14th of December when BTC had a strong impulse, but alt BTC was moving more, so alts were moving up higher. When BTC was moving down, alt BTC was moving down, so alts were moving down lower. And this correlation remained till the Bitcoin impulse in April, and from then on it was just BTC moving up on its own, and all of alt BTC moving down, except for some small periods of gains. So now what do we see? I'm just going to zoom in from this daily chart to the 4-hour. So what you can see on this 4-hour chart is this is alts against BTC, right? So you can see that alts dropped first and BTC dropped later, and you can see the second time this happened, alts dropped first and BTC dropped later. So what I want to tell you about this rally is, guys, this is fueled by alts, and they are leading the way, they are leading Bitcoin, and everybody is confused and watching Bitcoin all the time. They don't realize that currently, and this is always for a very short while in the market, but it's altcoins that call the shots. And it's basically you need to watch the leaders, and that's why you see the alts that I chart. I'm charting BSV, BCH, Dash, etc. These are the strong coins. BSV has been leading the market all the way since the bottom. On the 2nd or 3rd of Jan, BSV just started making these massive moves, and generally he's been moving a little before the market, so you can catch his direction. So this is a really important tip, guys. Always watch alt BTC, and it will give you a sense of directionality for Bitcoin as well, and the general market trend. Here's alts against BTC, currently at the weekly resistance. So you can see at the broad market, we just resting right below resistance, and you can see what we did last winter. This is September, October, the December bottom, but basically we had a 6-7 month consolidation that we broke down from. So don't be overly confident about alts outperforming Bitcoin. The halving is coming soon. It is possible that we do get something like this for alts, where we do still trend and select alts, keep going all the way till maybe mid-March, Feb, and then Bitcoin goes on its own, and we get a bit of a correction in alts. But the thing is that even against Bitcoin, as long as Bitcoin keeps rising, alts against BTC, unless some alt does have some very significant use case, they will constantly keep reducing their value as a collective, because that we get so many coins, so many new coins, so many older coins, all of them are included in this valuation, and that's why you see we've had such long downtrends. We have broken one key trend line, and we've made a very strong impulse. You can see these impulses have been so rare in the past, ever since I would say ever since the actual top for BTC. So it would be pretty interesting, I think, this coming week to see if alts actually have some real strength, and if we can carry on and get another very strong week for alts against BTC, or whether we're going to get this slow grind up. Nonetheless, it's useful to watch that we are still consolidating under resistance and doing a good job of it, because the rejection is currently not strong, and it is looking like we will get a continuation. Here's Bitcoin. We had a confluence of resistances on Bitcoin, and we got a very good reaction from these. I just want to show you these. So first is the monthly resistance right here, these tweezer tops. This monthly resistance 91.53. Then we had the very famous 200 SMA, and you can see right here. The third resistance is the Fibonacci pull from the top to the bottom of this move. So we hit the 6.6 level in confluence with this monthly resistance. When 2 or 3 levels have a confluence, guys, you generally do get a very good reaction from a level. I have actually another level I want you to see. So we also had this 5th channel resistance. It's a very clean channel, and you can see the 1.618 of this 5th channel as well that we've been playing on Bitcoin. So there was a confluence of multiple resistances over here, and we've deservedly gotten a very good reaction from here. And what we should expect now, I'm just going to remove this for now, put some fibs on here. So this is basically the move up that we've had. So we have very nice confluence again for support, 38.2 level along with the monthly support if price does have to get here. But if you will zoom in, let's try to get into the 1 hour. So if you'll zoom in here, you can see that we've taken out these stops over here, and this was basically 100 million in liquidations on BitMEX. So this has been absorbed in quite a small drop, essentially 100 million is a decent amount. Yeah, in about 5 to 6% the 100 million liquidation was there, and we've got reasonable demand at around 84.50. So what I would think is that price has already tested this level, but the fear and expectation, I think a lot of people will be pretty happy to be able to manage the risk and buy if price gets to 8300, 8200. This bunch of volume over here, this should provide a lot of support. So an easy buy for Bitcoin, I don't know, and I'm not sure if the market would want to give that, if we are bullish and if we are going to be continuing. Because if this move has to happen quick time and in a shorter time frame, then I don't think price needs to dip into that 8300 level. This is enough. But if we do have a lot of time, and the other logic for why price can get here and we can still consolidate is that there are still people who are bullish as long as price is where it is right now. And I think that people will only start to get bullish once we start closing above this 200 MA. We start finding support here, the entire market will get bullish, So maybe we need to consolidate, and the people who do understand that this is a bull market, this is the impulse leading us to the halving, maybe those people will be comfortable for price to be sitting here so they can continue to accumulate at lower prices. So that would be the only logic for price to come down. But there is a lot of demand and there is a lot of buyers between 8100 and 8300. There is a lot of buyers waiting. So I'm not entirely sure if we will come down here. For me, it is possible that we will make some kind of a sideways sorry, we're going to make some kind of a sideways consolidation for a couple of days, maybe make another stop run. So something like this, maybe make another stop run and then continue upwards. So that's the plan for Bitcoin, guys. If it's essentially just fear right now, stops are too wide, so people don't want to buy. It's possible we consolidate, and if it gets too heavy, take the stops out and move up. So last week I had spoken about the ADX on the weekly and what we wanted to see for the ADX on the weekly. And if you zoom in right now, you can see that we've gone above 25 and we have taken out the previous pivot high. And let's look at historics on the ADX. This is in April. We did take out the pivot high, consolidated above a positive signal. There was a lot of noise. This is all of April 2018, August, September, October, November. ADX weekly showed us a clear picture that we were just consolidating to make a big move. This is September 2016. Right here, when BTC did the same thing, just broke above 25 on the positive DMI, and we were ready to make a big trend. The only false signal that this positive DMI crossover on the ADX for BTC has been this June 2015 move, where we did break the pivot high and we did break 25, but we only consolidated and dropped down. Here's another DMI cross, but it wasn't only noise, there was no confirmation. because we did not break the pivot high over here. So yeah, I mean, the only out of three, or the only couple of times we've had something insignificant, or one time the pivot high was not broken, and June 2015 was the only time that this gave a false signal. So for now, considering that we are near the halving, I think this pivot high and closing above 25 for the DMI is a very positive sign. For a longer term target on Bitcoin, in case you missed this and you did not look at my chart on Twitter, we do have this bump and run which has now manifested, and we have about a 12,700 to 13,000 target on Bitcoin, and you can see we have about 110 days left for the halving. And generally you just have to understand, guys, the miners did not sell. The last week's chart to do with January, the January seasonality for Chinese miners, they did not sell. They were not selling at the 6,000, 6,500 range. And if they were not selling at 6,000, 6,500, after the halving, those same coins are going to be costing them about 13,000. So it seems like 13,000 is a logical target for the through this springtime. And also the thing is, spring has come early, and I spoke about the fact that essentially January might be or March, and Bitcoin generally tops out in June, so we might top out in April. And you can see we top out 1 month before the halving. Last time Litecoin did the same thing as well, so it is possible that Bitcoin tops out by April. So we do have a target for, essentially for me, for April is 13,000 for BTC. So it's a great time, guys. This comes once in every 4 years, so be sure to make the most of it. Here's the Nasdaq. It's quite comfortably gone right through the resistance zone that I had drawn out, and essentially these resistance zones, they're coming from Fibonacci levels. The next one is up here. But as traders, what we do is we're not looking to essentially short this, because this is the kind of trend it is. We are getting cautious and tightening stops and waiting for price to show weakness. And if they do start reacting to the designated zones, well and good. Otherwise, you look for a trend. A trend is a trend, and this trend is continuing till it doesn't. For me, I think this trend will only start to get weak and show failure once we start seeing a bit of sideways, and that's when we know we are heading for a correction. And like I said before, this correction should be a deep one, because we've had some really nice moves. Oil has manifested our plan from last week perfectly. We were looking for price to come down to this monthly level and dip below, give us a stop run and a reclaim of this level. If you took it, you should already be up about 2.5%. If you didn't take it, essentially I think you would have to just wait. This channel is very significant on oil, so expect it to react even on the way up. But essentially maybe a reclaim of the channel, possibly, to trade it to the middle. It's going to react from this weekly level as well, so I don't think you have any place to manage risk anymore. But if you reclaim this weekly resistance, I think you can start trading it up. Bullish oil long term now, and I think this is going to be a nice rhetoric for the next drop in stocks and some kind of a war to do with Iran and Iraq. It's all speculation, but still bullish on oil. The setup presented itself, and we took it. Let's see how far this can go. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and go ahead and share it with someone else. And if you have any questions about what we covered today, please leave them in the comments and I will be sure to get back to you or answer them in my next video. For more trading content and education, go ahead and click on the video on your right. Thanks for watching, guys, and cheers!